Welcome to the world of TWA supersonic travel. Well, not really. This extraordinary 7-foot-long model of a TWA Concorde Supersonic Transport, or SST, was as close as TWA would come to owning and operating the aircraft. For TWA, the Concorde SST was an airplane that never was. Nevertheless, the story of this amazing airplane and the early enthusiasm TWA and most every major airline in the world had for it make for quite a story. To tell this story, we need to go back to the mid and late 1950s, when the first subsonic jet aircraft appeared on the world commercial aviation stage. Passenger jets such as the Boeing 707 and the Douglas DC-8 quickly became favorites of travelers everywhere. It didn't take long for people to look ahead and see travel faster than the speed of sound. In 1962, British and French aircraft manufacturers joined together to produce the Concorde, designed to become the first passenger airplane that could travel the world at twice the speed of sound. Flying between cities such as New York and London in under 3 hours was anxiously anticipated. Everyone was excited, including TWA. In 1963 and 64, TWA signed options to acquire 6 Concordes. If you're facing the front of the model, behind you is a glass case in our 4-sided display kiosk. On the top shelf, in the middle, is a sterling silver miniature of the Concorde presented to TWA by French President Charles de Gaulle, acknowledging TWA's order. Other airlines expressed similar interest, bringing the total number of Concorde orders to over 80. However, in a matter of just a few short years, most all of those orders, including TWA's, would be cancelled. So, what happened? Let's look again at the model and find out. Design and development of the Concorde continued throughout the 1960s, and in 1969, the first test flights were underway. While it lived up to a promise of speeds greater than 1,200 miles per hour, airline managers and the public noticed some not-so-impressive features. Most significantly, its 4 powerful Rolls-Royce Olympus engines, situated under the delta-shaped wings, were very noisy. Listen to this short clip of the Concorde taking off from London. The plane has just become airborne and is climbing out at about 1,000 feet. Timing was also not on the side of the Concorde. In addition to being noisy, the engines consumed a large amount of fuel. The price of crude oil began to skyrocket in the early 1970s, which impacted the airline industry and the world economy. The extraordinary cost of flying and maintaining the Concorde quickly became a source of great concern to the airlines that had ordered it. There also were environmental concerns. Some claimed the SST's high-altitude flying would compromise the Earth's ozone layer. Mostly, however, people were concerned with the sonic boom, which occurred when the SST exceeded the speed of sound. While there was some controversy about the scope and effects of the boom, the reality was that you could hear it from the ground. If you've never heard one, we'll take care of that right now. Following is the audio portion of a home video taken aboard a cruise ship off the coast of France. The Concorde is passing overhead, flying at supersonic speed. You'll hear some of the ship's passengers chatting, then the boom, and then the passengers' reactions. This phenomenon led to most governments prohibiting the Concorde from traveling at supersonic speeds over land areas and coastlines. This was considered to be among the harshest consequences Concorde had to deal with, as its most compelling advantage, speed, was compromised. By 1973, most airlines, including TWA, canceled their options to purchase the aircraft. A total of only 14 Concordes flew in commercial service for British Airways and Air France between 1976 and 2003. It's been over 15 years since a supersonic passenger jet last flew. However, it might not be much longer. A new generation of supersonic passenger aircraft is now being constructed and should be flying in the not-too-distant future. Throughout our museum, you'll catch an occasional glimpse of smaller models of the proposed TWA Concorde. Most were once owned by TWA employees, who proudly displayed them on their desks in the 1960s. Finally, there's an additional part of the supersonic transport story that is worth noting. The United States also pursued development of a supersonic transport, and in 1967, a contract was awarded to Boeing to produce the aircraft. TWA and other airlines put in orders for those as well as the Concorde. As the Concorde started falling out of favor in the early 1970s, so did Boeing's SST. Boeing ended the project in 1971, having never even produced a prototype. At about the same time Concorde was being built and marketed, airplane manufacturers were introducing a new concept to commercial aviation, the subsonic wide-body jumbo jet.